Look, we know why you're here. You've got one of the first two picks this year in fantasy football, and you need help. Well, lucky for you, fantasy experts right here, and I'm here to tell you the best strategy you can use to maximize your position when having the first or second overall pick. For your first pick, don't be silly. It's either Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson. You could pretty much go either way here, but I do have a preference, and it's advice you won't hear from most people. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's the consensus number one overall pick. Over the last 2 years, he finished the RB2 and the RB3 for points per game fantasy football. And since then, his situation has only improved. In those past 2 years, they were using him as like a 1-2 punch with the new Texans running back, David Montgomery. Sonic and Knuckles, if you know. But Knuckles is gone, and it's the full-on Jahmyr Gibbs show in Detroit this year. Now, the argument for Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson also has finished as the running back 2 and 3 the last 2 seasons in points per game. He's on the Atlanta Falcons, and one thing about them is whenever they got close to the goal line, they're like, hey Bijan, we're okay, we're good here. Send in Tyler Algier. But guess what? He's gone now. So Bijan can expect much more touchdowns this season. Now, out of the two, I would have to ultimately go with Bijan Robinson, which I told you most people won't say that. The Lions are the better offense, but Bijan Robinson has never missed a game, and with those increased touchdowns, he's my guy for the first overall pick. Now, here's where the strategy actually starts. When you're at the turn, there's a lot of picks you're going to miss out on. So here, you have to go running back receiver. Usually, it's not about what positions you take, and it's about who you take. But when you're on the turn like this, no other way. For running backs, I would look at players, and here's my order of them, like Omarion Hampton, Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, and Derrick Henry. Now, odds are you won't be able to pick from all four, which is why I would just take whoever's the best available out of all of them. And if you have the 102, you'll probably want to take the running back first because that's where the bigger tier break is. Now, for the wide receiver you want to take at this turn, I would look at Drake London, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, Chris Olave, Malik Neighbors, and George Pickens. See, there's a lot bigger of a range in them, which is why I say we tend to go with the wide receiver second if you have that second overall. If you have the first overall and you got the back-to-back, it won't matter, obviously. For the 4-5 turn, it's a very similar story with one running back and one receiver. This is your last chance if you want to take a running back and make him at least be an every-week flex. So now some of the running backs I like here is if you could get a fall from Cam Skattebo, or you could take a player like David Montgomery. Now, the receivers you're going to want to be taking here is if you can get a fall from Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, or T. Higgins, you take them. But more reasonably, I like Jalen Waddle or Terry McLaurin, since they both are on improved offenses from last year, and I expect a big bounce back from both of them. Now, you've got to be leaving this 5th round with 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers, because this is going to be the core of your team to build around. And with this, your team will probably be pretty balanced, and you will have a lot of flexibility the rest of your draft. The good thing about this strategy is it's very simple, very flexible, and very easy to execute during your draft. Now we're going to go over 2 mock drafts I did while executing this strategy perfectly, and I'll do one from the first pick and one from the second pick to show it can be done at either spot. The first draft we got the 101, so I started with Bijan Robinson. Obviously, he's my preferred guy, but you could go either him or Gibbs if you wanted to. Now at the turns where it gets interesting, I was able to get Kenneth Walker and Nico Collins. I got pretty lucky this draft. There was a couple of solid running back options here. I could have also taken Derrick Henry, the king, but if I did, there would have been quite a bit of unbalance between running backs and receivers on this team. I went Nico out of the receivers since he's a pretty good value. We know who he is. He's pretty consistent each year, and the Texans have only improved. So he will be a great wide receiver 1 for this team. Next time we got the pick, I went with Waddle and David Montgomery. Now, I like Waddle's value here, and I think he'll do quite good on the Broncos. as his situation, he's finally the main guy in a good offense. Similar story with David Montgomery. He's been really good in past years, but he's been stuck behind Jahmyr Gibbs. And now he does have competition still with Woody Marks and the Texans backfield, and he's not on the elite offense. But I think him being the lead guy, we could easily see him average 14 points a game and be a great flex for us. As you can see, in the first 5 picks, we were able to execute this strategy perfectly and have a great core for our team. And after that, it's pretty simple. You want to just take the best values you can get and then lean towards upside players near the end of the draft. So with the next pick, we got Jalen Hurts. Now, I like him a lot this year. He doesn't have A.J. Brown beefing with him, and he'll be able to get all those A.J. Brown book reading stuff out of here. We also got Chuba Hubbard. Now, here's a pro tip for you guys if you're in this 7th early round and your need is still a running back. He's got a really tough schedule in the season, but the first 3 weeks, those are going to be good. So you draft him to play him those 3 weeks. Then let's say he averages like 14, 15 points. Then you can sell him and get a more stable running back for the whole year. But a lot of people aren't buying Chuba Hubbard because he has this ACL guy, Jonathan Brooks, coming back to do the Rico Dowdle role and steal the offense from him. But I'm a Panthers fan, and they paid Chuba so much. Chuba will be the main guy the whole year. But what you want to do is get him those 3 weeks and sell him right away. Now, after that, you can pretty much see what we did. You go as many upside players as you can and close out your draft. I also took George Kittle. He might not play right at the beginning of the year, but in a league like this, you just throw him on your IR, pick up a new guy right away. Now, the mock draft from the 102, same perfect strategy, same story. Now, the good thing with liking Bijan is you'll probably be able to get him at the 2nd overall pick, which we were here. And you can just take whoever's left out of Gibbs or Bijan with the 2nd pick. This is actually why I would lean towards the 2nd pick out of the 2, because you've got that flexibility and the earlier pick in the next round. The next 2 picks we got was Kenneth Walker again and Chris Olave. Kenneth Walker, like I said, a lot of upside now being on the Chiefs, and he's not our main running back. So if he turns out to be just a mid running back 1, running back 2, will be completely okay. Chris Olave, I hate the Saints because I'm a Panthers guy again, but Chris Olave has done great with Tyler Shugg. It's going to be the same again. A lot of people are scared of his injury risk with his concussions, but never got injured last year, so we're going to pretend he won't get injured this year. I'm a guy who likes avoiding injuries and just taking the stable players like Amon-Ra St. Brown in the middle, but Chris Olave, I trust him a lot more than these injury risk guys. Now, at the end of round 4, beginning of round 5, we got Cam Skattebo and Terry McLaurin. Cam Skattebo, he was averaging well over 15 points a game while he was the starter this season, and he does have that injury risk because we know he's missing a few brain cells from all his running years. That's why it was good we were able to get Tyrone Tracy later in the draft, which you would easily be able to do because not many people are looking at their board and be like, I gotta get Tyrone Tracy. Terry McLaurin, like we said earlier, big upside for Jaden Daniels coming back, and I really like his pick value here. Now, even if he doesn't bounce back, I still think he'd average anywhere between 10 to 12.5 points per game, and so he'd still be a solid flex for us. So this is just another example of this strategy and how easy it is to work through the first 5 rounds with the elite stud like Bijan or Gibbs, and then running back receiver, can do it anytime you have the 1st or 2nd pick. This strategy will give you a very balanced and very strong team, and you can do a lot of flexibility with what you want the rest of the time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We got +1 subscribers from last video. We're going for +1 again today. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff, you know the deal. Hope you guys could learn something while watching this. See, if you couldn't tell, I've got the Russell Wilson jersey on from the Broncos. So this one's for the fans. Walker Country, let's ride! Peace!